Hello and welcome to the 2024 Spider-Man vs. Sandman Final Battle set. Now this set will combine with the 2023 Spider-Man Final Battle set. Yes, I know it's confusing. Where this set will make the other one bigger. So what we're going to do in today's upload, we're going to get this unboxed, which I've already done, go through the box artwork, go through the incredible minifigures that are included in both sets, including the new Lizard minifigure, which does look very, very good. And then at the end of the video, we're going to strip this one apart, which is what you've got to do, and then connect it in the different bits and pieces from the other Final Battle set. It's not that easy. I'm not going to lie, it is a little bit tricky, but I have managed to do it in a way, and you will have seen what it's like in the actual main photo as well, because like I said, this is already built and I've already filmed the video, so at least I know what I'm talking about. But yes, it is not the easiest thing to do, but first thing first, let's get to it. So the box art comparison, 76261 is the Spider-Man Final Battle, that is the bigger box, and 76280 is the Sandman Final Battle. Now they are both a 10 plus set, and I think they are both very, very eye-catching box artwork to pick them up off the shelf. Now if they've been put on the shelf the wrong way, these are the minifigures that you're going to be looking for. So you can see at the bottom we've got the brand new Lizard, and then you've got Ned in the cape. So moving on to the back of the box artwork, you see you've got the Spider-Man symbol at the bottom left. That is located on this bigger box as well. Now with regards to both of the box artwork, it does show you what you can do, how you can take it apart, and what it is you can do with them. I think they do look very, very good. So this is going to be a very good addition, which obviously I am going to put together with you. Now with regards to the bigger set of the two, you can see the head pops off, and there is the little Easter egg of the Sandman little fist, which is obviously why that was there for this new edition. And then you have got rear entry going over to the Dr. Santrum, which is this bit just here as well. And you can see as I pan out, that is what both of those boxes would look like on the shelf. Moving on to the instruction booklet for the newer set first. Now this does come with a teeny tiny little sticker sheet. You've just got 2 number 1s and 3 number 2s, and it's quite nice actually where they go. You can't really tell that they're on the set on this one, which is great. But obviously the all-important Lizard minifigure is the first thing you do on bag number 1. Now there's no story to be told in this, it's not one of those sets. However, right at the very, very back, apart from obviously as per normal, you've got all the bricks, you have this. Now they are showing you that you can combine the two. So like I said, 76280 is the new 2024 set, and 76261, this one just here, that is last year's set. Now this is what you can do with it. So I am going to try and attempt, without breaking it, putting these two together. So you can see that the top bit comes off, the fist comes out, and then we add this massive torso in. And I do believe you're going to be able to add those two together, so you can see what that looks like. And then this is what the final result, all going well, is going to be. Minifigure time. Let's start with the Lizard. It's the newest one to the collection, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So let's get him super, super close to the camera. You can see all of the amazing detail that is in his face. You've got the fangs, you've got all the amazing print on his forehead. You've got the beautiful detail going across the chest, and then as I lift him up, you can see you've got all these really nice pattern on his legs as well. Now obviously he's got his little toes, and then across the back he's got his tail. Then you've got all of the scales and everything that go across the back of the head as well. I think this minifigure does look very, very, very good, and it's nice that this one is here. Now like I probably have already said, even though I think you get kind of shortchanged on this Electro, which you'll see what I mean in a second when we do a comparison between the other one, I am extremely happy that the Lizard has been added. Now if you have not got this one in your collection, then you are absolutely living the dream picking up this set rather than the more expensive set. But when these two are side by side, there is a huge difference between the two. So we're going to do a comparison of this, and we're going to see if the Tom Holland is different. Now the biggest thing to check out is this bit at the back. So you can see just here you've got all of the effects across the back, which do look very, very smart. They do work very, very well, and you can see just what they look like. Now when we grab the other one in a minute, you'll see exactly what I mean with regards to the difference. Now if we spin this round and just take a focus on his torso and the face, you can see you've got all the really, really nice print across the face, and then if I get his arms out of the way, you have got all of that amazing artwork and everything going across to the front. So you can see you've got the silver, the belt buckle, you've got that little thing just there, that's obviously sort of like new power supply in the MCU film, and then you've got the really bright yellow. And then again, you've got all the bits and pieces on the trouser print as well, which again looks very, very effective. Now, moving on to what also looks effective is the Tom Holland minifigure. Now, this thing, you can have 2 effects if you want to. I've just put 1 in and just kept 1 spare because I do not want to lose anything. And I am now going to keep all the minifigures with the set. So when I do set up this theme park, they won't be walking around and doing loads of different bits and pieces, because that way I can just grab them much easier. Now you can see the webbing on the back of this one's head looks great. And then you've got the really, really nice shiny gold with all the red. Well, you can see it for yourself. Hopefully it's coming through clear enough with this different setup that I'm using today. You can see all of that just up in there. So if it wasn't working, I'd get it a little bit closer. But what I do like is the dual print on the back. So you've got the black with the red, which looks great. And then you can see across the back just here, you've got all the red with the gold, and then you've got the other gold mixed in with the sort of grey and the red there. And then on the both sides, you've got the really, really jet black arms, and then the black gloves. Now we'll stick with the Tom Holland minifigure to start with, and I will grab the other one from the other set. Right, time to play Spot the Difference. Now I think they are absolutely identical. I've obviously kept the webbing in this one on purpose so you can see which one's from what. I think you get the exact same Spider-Man. The face print is the same. All the torso, I do believe, is exactly the same. You've got all the gold like we've just gone over with all the white cracking on the side. The bottom of the pelvis is exactly the same. Top of the thighs, knees and toes, turning this into a really, really bad variation of a song. Now on to the back, bend over, we have got, again, exactly the same print on the back as that one stands up, and that one stands up, just like so. They're exactly the same, and then you've got the webbing across the back. So they are all looking very, very good, and they do look identical. However, these two could not be any more different if they tried. Now the minifigure itself is exactly the same. So I love all the print, the hairpiece looks great, and obviously all the bits and pieces on the face, identical, and they are identical on the back. Now the bits that they hold, so these bits just here, and this one just here, they are also identical. But if I do this, just so you can see the size and the girth of this one, and then I move this one out the way and put this one straight down, it doesn't even fit on the camera how much bigger those effects are on the back. They are absolutely enormous. You've got all 4 of them across the back. Then you've got the 2 sort of blast effects at the top. And the nice thing is with these also move. So you can see that they will come down. You can do whatever it is you want to do with this. So you have 4 of them lat length. And then with this one, if I stand this one in front, you can see just how much smaller that effect is compared to the one at the back. It is not close whatsoever. Now we take a look at them from the back. This is why I think you might be in a little bit shortchanged on this one, but at the same time, I would rather get this variation of Electro and get the lizard rather than just not get the lizard and get this one again. So it is sort of a catch-22 as I end up destroying this. Now actually it shows me how you can build this one. So this one is all built in layers. So you just literally clip that onto there, and then you can pick and choose the angle that you want the back of this one. So that is on that mechanism for this one, and it is double skinned. It's double layered on 2 on there, and then you put 2 on there. Now this one isn't. As you can see, it is on almost like a Venom style pack, where you've just got these little clips on the back, and that is what they do. I did not realise until I had these minifigures in hand that they were so different, because on the website they do look very, very similar, but then the second you start paying attention to just all of the different detail that they've got, you can then soon see actually is a huge difference. Now this one is so big, it's very, very difficult to actually get it in front of the camera. So that is basically the best I can do with regards to that one. And like I said, that will spin around. But that is both of those side by side. Now the only disadvantage of this one is very difficult to stand up if you just want to take photos of it, because these effects are so massive. But if you do have it on a base plate and you can angle them correctly, because obviously it's meant for him flying around and doing whatever it is that you want to do. So you're supposed to have them up like so, and then you can move that one round and you can put that one down a little bit lower, and then you can start to get that sort of shape. As long as he's on an actual base plate, which he won't fall over then you'll be absolutely fine. So obviously if you display it on a base plate, that is what that's going to look like, and it'll be okay. If you are going to take these out and about to get a load of photos taken, it's going to be very, very difficult to do because this back is very, very heavy compared to this one, because this one can literally just stand up on the table like so. You plonk this one down to stand up on the table and he does not have a chance whatsoever. So this is very, very heavy. And again, they both go over the neck, so you can see the piece just here. So you've got the silver bit that goes over the neck on this one, and then you've got the darker black that just goes over the neck on this one. So last look at all three of these minifigures together. These are the minifigures from the new set. So the new set, one more time, is 76280, Spider-Man versus Sandman, the final battle. In this one, you get these three minifigures. Like I said, I'm happy to get this one again because I think this minifigure is fantastic and I just wouldn't have to have all of this sort of electric bits and pieces on it, so I can then just put this on display and it'll look really nice. And then I'm glad that we got given this one. I mean, the only other thing that they could have done is they could have potentially given us a Dockhok in the correct colour and not given us another Electro, but at the same time, as long as we got the lizard, I don't really care too much. But in the comments below, let us know if you would have liked the big one again, which is this huge thing just here, or do you think this one is actually just too big and you're glad to have a slightly smaller variation because it's been a little bit easier to display. Obviously you're going to need another Spider-Man in case you don't have the other set, and the lizard is a new character. But if you didn't want another Electro, who would you have liked instead? So moving on to the SpiderMan Team and their additional heads that you get given. So you can see that you have three different heads just there from all three different Spider-Mans. You've got the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, which is obviously Tobey Maguire. Then you've got the amazing Spider-Man, which is Andrew Garfield. And then you've got the Spider-Man, which is, obviously we know who that is, Tom Holland. Now both of these have additional faces on. So if I just pop the hairs off, if I can, which is really difficult to do when they're not actually on a, there we go. So you've got that one and that one, depending on which way it was being shown. And then again with this one, plonk that off, and then you have that face as well. So you've got the aggressive faces with the happy faces. Now, the difference between Tobey and Andrew's Spider-Man is quite easy to see once they are side by side. So we'll put both of those together. Hopefully, again, it's coming through on the camera cleanly enough. One is all black webbing. So the Amazing Spider-Man is all the black webbing on this side. And then on this side, you've got all the really, really nice silver. So the silver is the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is the first one. And then the next lot is the Amazing Spider-Man, which is on there. And then the Spider-Man, which will be Tom, is that one. So all three of those together, I think, do look very, very good. So there are big differences. If you start across the top of the head to start with, you can see every single eye gap is completely different, and the webbing is all different patterns as well. So on this one, it comes up as a V shape. On this one, it's got multi-layered patterning, there we go, all across that bit. So you've got 3 or 4 different layers of patterns. That's the way to say it on this one. And then you've got a bit of black. No, that's just a reflection. So it's all silver, but it's only one layer, and then you've got a little bit just across the eyes just on that bit. And then obviously you can see going down the side of these two, you've got the blue with the red, and then again for the legs, they are exactly the same. So the shades of blue are exactly the same, but you can see just now, just a big difference between the silver. The abs are exactly the same. The Spider-Man symbol is slightly different sizing on both of those as well. Now across the back, we get those two again stood up side by side. The spider across both of those two are also completely different, because the one on the back here, so the one on the left, if I've moved the right thing, I need to move the camera. The silver, you can see you've got the bigger spider and you've got the sort of wiggly belt going across the bottom on that one for the silver, whereas this one is just all black checkers, and the back is much, much different with regards to it all being staggered as well. So you can see just how different that one is compared to that one, but again the legs are exactly the same. Now don't forget, these two minifigures only come in the Spider-Man Final Battle. They are not included in the new Sandman Final Battle, but you do get this minifigure, or should I say this is the minifigure you get in that, and they are absolutely identical. So it's getting nice and confusing early, but like I said, you do get all 3 different bits and pieces, so you can kind of pick and choose which of you want to, whose hair you want on whose, and whose face you want on whose. You can make it up as you go. You can let us know in the comments which one looks better with who, and that is the team of the Spider-Man. So everything that we're about to have a look at now, every single minifigure is not included in the new set for 2024. This is all from the 2023 set. So we'll start with Ned. So with Ned, got a nice little bit of face printing on the top. So you see the marking just on there, and you've got the marking across the cheek as well. Now the yellow and red combination is super, super vibrant. Now obviously, this is all the bits and pieces that were just worn in the film. So this is how this worked. That's what he was wearing. Well, you think that's what it should have been, but I'm pretty sure as a good selection with a good talk about the minifigure selection of this set with Jay's Toy Collection UK, we think, in fact we're 100% sure Dockhok is in the wrong coloured outfit, but that doesn't matter. I'd rather have a Dockhok than no Dockhok whatsoever. So with regards to the back, you have got the white, you got the little bit up with the black just up on there, and then you've got the blue leg, and there is no printing on that one, but again you can see just how nice this one looks. So we'll move on to MJ. MJ is just in her jumper, because again that's what she wore in that scene of the film. So you can see coming through on the camera, you've got the little sort of crease there at the bottom where you've got the brown, the green, then you've got the white strap, and then you've got the sort of more crease marks just underneath, which does look nice, and then you just got the yellow, green, white combination just going across up at the top. No sleeve print on the one side, and then you do have the same sort of pattern across the back, but there is a little bit of a crease there. Now with MJ, she does have an alternate face, so you have the one with the raised eyebrow, and then you have the one without the raised eyebrow. Now with Ned, I didn't even check for that one, does Ned have a second one? Yes, he does. So he's got the super happy smiley grin. So we'll put the super happy smiley grin on Ned. He always seems happy enough. And then again, that is his hairpiece, which I do believe is a wig in the films. I think he is bald. So it does look very, very good in the film. So that is those two. So that's what they look like side by side, as one of Pumpkin's hairs has just got stuck under MJ. Now, moving on to Doctor Strange. We'll get them out of the way. Doctor Strange does look very, very good. He's been making the rounds in lots and lots of different sets recently, but this one does have the stiff cape, which does look very, very good. Now, obviously with the stiff cape, a bit like the Batman, you can't get them in any vehicles, but then Doctor Strange doesn't need to get in any vehicles because he flies everywhere, whereas the Batman hard cape, you cannot get him in the actual car. And in fact, just for reference, check this out. Organised on this one, that is the new Batman cape. That's how big that thing is, with it being really, really hard. So in the Batman Shadow Box, they actually had to give you a second minifigure with a different cape, because this is all one piece with the cowl, because it won't fit in the actual Batman car. Anyway, back from DC, back on to Marvel. So you can see you've got all the blast effects on this. You don't have to add these on. You can do different bits and pieces if you want to, but I think it does look very effective with these. Now on the box, it does show him with the book. Now with regards to this, what is quite cool is just how it slides off. So you can see how it pops off. That's nice and simple, because obviously this thing is supposed to fly around, and you can add this onto different minifigures. So if you want to, you can add this onto Ned or anybody else that you fancy. Now with regards to this one, you have got a secondary face print on this. So you do get lots and lots of options for different photos and lots of other different bits and pieces going on. So you can see you've got the more aggressive looking one, or you've got the more slightly happy looking one. But he's never happy, so what we'll do, we'll keep him aggressive and we'll keep his cape off. Now, moving on to the villains. So we will start off with the Green Goblin and his pumpkin bomb. Now, he does look very, very good on this one. You can see the purple looks very, very vibrant against the grey, and he has the really nice blue little flame effects at the back where he's flying around. Now, these pieces do move, so you can do different bits and pieces if you want to, and you can recreate the different scenes of doing bits and pieces if you like. Now, the nice thing about this glider, it is not ridiculously massive. The one that comes with the Daily Bugle is much bigger, but this one works absolutely perfectly fine. So if we keep him on his glider, hopefully he then won't fall over. So you can see you've got the really nice print all across the top. So you've got the sort of purple tear across the top there, and then you've got the belt buckle, and then you've got the bit that goes over his shoulder, then you've got the nice triangular bits and pieces. There's lots of detail on this one, so you can see that you've got all the silver effects. So if I get it in the light just there, you can see all of the silver reflecting. That's the bits and pieces that I'm talking about. And then across the bottom left hand corner you've got the darker silver, which isn't as reflective, and that does look, again, very, very smart. Now, in case it's not picking it up, the gloves, they are a darker green to the actual arm print, and again, you haven't got any print on the legs. Moving on to the back, there is nothing underneath on his backside, but then you do have all the detail across the belt. And again, starting off with that, you can see again what is nice and shiny with the purple, looks smart. Now with regards to the face, yes, you have two. You got the super evil looking one, which I think does look very, very good. And then you've got the glasses as well. To be honest, I think I'm going to have that one, because that one does look, I know it's the wrong way around, but if I put his hairpiece on, I think that does look very, very good. So when he goes into the actual main display with the Daily Bugle and the Avengers Tower and the Doctor Strange set, when they're all going to be having a massive battle, yes, I think that one works very, very well as well. So don't forget, like I said, you then get this thing, which we've already had a very, very good look at. Now again, these two side by side. The villains are large because they all come with either big wingspan. So again, you can see just how big this one is, because if you've seen this glider, the wingspan of Electro is bigger than that glider, so you can actually start working out for yourself how many studs wide this is, because the glider is 1, 2, 3, 4, say 5 studs wide. In fact, I can put it on here and count. So the glider is exactly 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, is 9, say 10 studs, yeah. So it is 10 studs wide, and this takes up a wider mass. So that is villain number 2. Now moving on to the third villain, which I think a lot of people really do like, but again, don't think he's in the right outfit. But at the same time, these have been upgraded. So these are much stiffer. So these bits just here, they actually now click and move about. So if I do that, they're on more of a ratchet type thing, which is very, very good as he knocks the camera with regards to actually clipping on and grabbing on to different bits and pieces, whereas the other Dockhok, that is a little bit more flimsy. So this Dockhok is from the Daily Bugle, so you can see that it is a much, much larger arm span. So you can see he's got much more of a reach. Again, he does have 4, so they wrap round and they do whatever they want to do. This one is just much, much more sturdier, whereas this one, because of how it's built, does have a tendency of falling apart like that. Look, easy enough, but once you got him in position, he does look very, very good. But you can see just how different those two look. You've got the different outfits, you've got all the different bits and pieces on both of them. They both look absolutely fantastic, but at least you've got an understanding of how I think this is an upgrade with regards to just how strong this one is in a much, much cheaper set. But just a reminder, this does not come with any of the Spider-Man sets. This is part of the Daily Bugle. Now, before we actually carry on with this minifigure, we'll go back to this one, because at the same time of me doing that, I have grabbed this one. Now, this is another minifigure that comes from the Daily Bugle. That orange looks phenomenal. So both of those, I think, look absolutely brilliant. Having these flying around in my display, I think will work very, very well. Now with the glider, again, they are different. So you can see how this one on the side and this one on the side are two completely different things. I think actually this glider is just a little bit bigger. I got that wrong. I thought that was a little bit bigger, but when it is folded up, it is then also smaller. So you can see what this one looks like with all the bits and pieces. Orange flame, orange outfit, orange cape. And then you've got the really, really nice purple with the blue. And then you've got the purple with the green outfit. So that's the Spider-Man, that's your Daily Bugle. Now moving on to what we were talking about, this one. Even though I don't think it is, well, I keep saying I don't think it is. Even though it's the wrong colour, it looks brilliant. So you've got all of the bits and pieces across the legs. You can see just here, you've got all of the nice brown and the silver on the leg. You've got all the little sort of the buttons, tears and everything across the top of the leg. So there's good leg printing on this one. And you've got it across the bottom of the toes as well. And then it goes up into the brown. So you can see how the dark brown matches the gloves. And then even with this, and you've got the, there we go. Even with this, you have got the more evil face. So if, depending on how he is, you can have the happy one, depending on what part of the film you want to use him from, or you can have that one. Now, I think he does have a little bit of printing on the back as well. I'm pretty sure you're going to be displaying all of these minifigures with their bits and pieces, but you can see on the back of this one, you've got lots and lots of silver on that, and that is the same for all of the other minifigures as well, by the way. They do have good printing on the back, but because you're going to be having them like you can see on the box, they're going to be dangling off. I wouldn't imagine you're going to display them without those bits and pieces, but then again, depending on what it is that you want to set up, You might do. So you can see that just slots over the head as so. That then clips on. It's sturdy enough. It will stand, he says, it will stand up without being on a base plate, but it is a lot easier to stand it on some studs when you start putting it all back together. But we'll give him his happy face and we'll put his hair back on. So just a quick recap of the villains, and you can see Electro here. You can actually have him, guess if you want to, flying. But you can have him just up like that, and you can use his electrical bits and pieces for him to stand on. That does look very, very, very smart just like that as well. So you can have him like that if you want to. But again, he takes up a huge amount of room, and I love it. I love this minifigure. I think, as you can tell, quite biased to this one. I think that's probably the minifigure of that set, and the lizard on the other one is massive. But what I'm trying to get at with these is all three villains take up a lot of girth, so they've got a lot of space needed for these, which look great. So you can easily see them when they're battling and fighting around all of the other minifigures. Now don't forget the minifigures that are included in this one. I think it is a very, very good selection. But again, let us know in the comments below what your favourite ones are. So moving on to the sets themselves, the new 2024 set on the left hand side is a lot bigger than what I thought it was going to be. So we'll tuck into that one in a second. Now, because both of these are completely stripped down without the minifigures, let's just do a quick 360 of this one first, so you can see exactly what's what. So obviously what we're going to be doing is we're going to be stripping this new one down and adding it into this one in a second. But as we spin this round, you can see all of the different opportunities where we can put all of the minifigures, which is what we're going to be doing at the end. You've got the generator just here, and then across the back you can see you have all of these different bits and pieces. So as it comes through, that is the little Easter egg that comes across the back. So you've got the ring taking you to the Doctor Strange set, so you can obviously have this sort of teleporting across and doing whatever it is that you want to do. And then you've got all these little bits and pieces there. You can move a little bit, but nothing too drastic. And then again, you've got the little flight stands that you can add bits on, and then you've got the little bucket, and there's just lots of stuff you can do. Now, lots of stickers on this one. You can see you've got the 2 stickers up there, and then each one of these bits just a little bit off camera shot. So all of these bits just up here, all of these are stickers. So this one does have a lot more stickers on this set. But what I do like they've done with the other green Statue of Liberty, they have just used hot dogs for eyeballs. So you've got the brown hot dogs on those two, and I think it does look very, very effective. And obviously it is the correct colour because they were refurbing it in the film. Now what I would love to see is them do a cap shield that would actually add on to this as well, and then that would make one serious display. Now, what we have to do, I do believe, is we have to take this bit off. So that is where this new bit goes, because in the top here is actually where I've got this, which is supposed to be the little Easter egg. I guess now it was an Easter egg, because a lot of people thought it was just the main Sandman, which is this thing. So this thing is actually this. So we'll take a good look at this now, and then we'll get tucked into stripping this down, I guess, and figuring out exactly how to do it. I've not actually seen how you're supposed to do it, so I will have to get the instructions out and have another look, but there is a lot going on with this. So you can see the head itself, brilliant. It does all turn nicely, so it all rocks round. It does lots and lots. It does everything that you want to do, basically. So you can pick and choose exactly where it is that you want to put it. And then with the fingers, every single finger moves around, and I'm pretty sure a minifigure in its hand might work quite well. I think that looks fine. So Ned is in it. So Ned's in the hand. I think it works quite well as I'm trying to grab the camera without dropping it. I think that works. It does rotate around. His arm does whatever he wants to do, and he will not drop him. So there we go. So his fingers are absolutely huge, and you can make a nice hand with that. So you can see all of that. You've got the thumb, and then it comes down into the arm, and then you've got the other display bit for the scaffolding, which I do believe strips apart. So again, you could if you want to, which I'm probably going to keep Ned there because he deserves it. He can just stay there. And then you have this other hand which do have more fingers on, but this hand is slightly smaller. Again, you can do whatever it is that you want to do that. You might be able to get another little minifigure in there or something else that you can hold on to. Lots of nice detail on the torso, so you can see you've got all the different abs, you've got all the bits and pieces. And then obviously don't forget, it's supposed to be sand. Then you've got this piece, Then you've got the bright yellow bit. Now on the actual booklet, it does say just put that there. So I've just left that there. That's just part for Spider-Man. So that does not get lost, because I wanted to show you all of this for this little unboxing thing that we are doing. So the comparison of the two. That is all the detail on the back. It doesn't look bad from the back. I'm sure some of you want to modify it. And then you have got these big shoulder pieces just on the sides. You've got the shoulder pads. And again, Ned is just chilling out up at the top. So what we need to do is we need to figure out how this one comes out, because I will show you this now. This one is in very, very sturdily. So if this breaks, it breaks. I don't really care. This is how I do these kind of things. So this is in really, really well. So that isn't actually correct. This is, Ned's gone, is on that joint. So how this goes in is that is actually the size of it. So if we get that down like that, that is what it looks like not being in the frame at all. So he's not going to go anywhere, because he's big enough just to stand up without being on any of the balls. So again, you can see exactly what is what. Now this piece just here, the bit that's come out, this is the bit that it pops into. So that bit stands in that gap just here. So that's how that works. You can see that then clips into there. Nice detail and everything going across the base. It works. It's fine. Now, this then rams into a very, very big ball at the bottom just there. So, if I don't say anything, you will hear how much this will click. There you go. It is a proper click as well. So you can then get that rotation of the torso, and he is not coming out. You can do whatever it is that you want to do with that. He is not coming out from that piece whatsoever. Now, I am pretty sure, going by the instruction booklet, that is the piece then is what he stands on. So before I strip this one down, I've actually just added the minifigures in for the first time. Now it does look great with that lizard up there, so you can see you can do different bits and pieces with this one. You can have this one at the angle, and you can get some really, really nice angles for photos if you wanted to. Now I've just thrown this together very, very quickly. The spider's web bit does work nicely. I've got him kicking Sandman in the head as he's jumping over to get the Electro. Yes, this is the correct one that comes with this. So you can see what kind of display it is that you want to make up. So just doing something like that very, very simply on the shelf, I think does look very, very smart indeed. Now what I need to do is I need to get this off, out, and then into the middle. So I'm going to try and do this all in one uncut thing, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So Spider-Man has just come off the side of the head. I didn't clip this one back in fully, so this one should just come back out like it does, nice and simply. Now I think this can only go in a certain way. It has to go in side on, otherwise it won't fit, because it won't fit in that way, as you can see, because his torso is just too wide. So I think you can see his, yeah, just about his torso is too wide, but he will, I think, go side on. Right, we'll try that again. The battery died, but luckily I didn't actually push it in, and I've just raised you up a little bit, so hopefully you can see it a little bit more. So take two. The torso won't fit in that way, but if you spin the torso around, it should slide in somewhere, and then I do believe you're going to be able to use all the shoulder bits and pieces to plonk it in. So let's just see if I can get this in without smashing this up. Maybe not. Which way is this supposed to go? Does it go in straight? Yes, okay. So, that's not good. Definitely doing something wrong, but it should, I thought, just plonk in. Are we in? We're in. No, we're not. I'm not taking this out. It should be a lot more simpler than this. Simpler than this, I thought, but maybe I'm just being stupid, because the bottom part of his torso won't move. I thought you just... Does he just get stuck in that position? Let me go side on. Almost feels like it needs something else in there, because it's almost, his belly's just almost a little bit too wide to fit in that gap. Let me see if I can modify it. We will try again. I've just put something in the actual hole to fill it in. I don't know if I built the actual head wrong or what, but that now, he says, should, there you go in. Now, this is higher than what it is on the instruction booklet, so maybe I've made that too tall. Do I get that one out of the way and just have that? it just seems very, very snug for me. So something somewhere is not happy. I don't understand why the width of mine won't fit in. I've definitely done something wrong. So can I go that way? Yes, I can. Right, there we go. So that's how tall it should be, but it's just not very, very steady. So I need to probably add another one of those in there. Stand those two side by side. That live bodging on the job. That's clicked in. Right, we're good. Stable. That's it. So that is what that looks like. So that is something, I've done something wrong, but that is what that is in. That is sturdy now, so that's absolutely fine. So you can knock that about and move that about and it's not going to go anywhere. And I think that looks absolutely fantastic. Next two things to figure out are, well, the scaffolding and this. These are the other two bits and pieces that you can extend on. Now the only thing doing it, even though it looks amazing, is that this is the whole base. So this now just becomes spare pieces. I will try and figure out what I can do with this very, very bottom tier. I'm sure there'll be something that we can do, so it's just not going to be wasted. But again, going by the instruction booklet, they have got all of it together. So that is going behind his back shoulder. So there's got to be something around the back here that we can do to try and get it connected. I think it's this. So this will be the first one. So we took that flight stand off. This bit here, where are you? There we go. This bit here, that is where the Technic piece probably clips in. Now without pushing it in too hard, that is exactly what you need to do. Now don't forget the flight stands and stuff on this are universal. So this bit just here, there is actually another hole on the other side just there, just there. So I will put that flight stand back in and then we can have somebody else flying through the other portal, which I think will look nice, unless this piece here has to go in that hole. So I'm not going to lie, I've been messing around with this for a long time to figure out that bit, because obviously that is the other bit that is with the scaffolding. However, once my brain clicked, it's not needed. What you've got is you've got these little pins just here. So you've got bottom one, bottom two. They are designed just to attach in to the scaffolding that is already there. So you just slot it down and you just do that. So as it spins round, that is how they've got it in the instruction booklet. So just a recap then of how that all gets put together. And obviously you can move the scaffolding tower basically wherever you want it to go into, because you do have the opportunity to put it into any of those if you want. But for now, I'm just going to leave it there. Now I've not added any of the minifigures. Obviously the lizard is still there from when it went on display. And all I've done is taken this bit off. Now, you've got the hook just there. That is where it goes into. That's it, that's all you need. Don't let this bit fool you. Honestly, I've spent a good 20 minutes sort of poking it in the back and just going, well, that's not right, that's not right. Now, what I do need to figure out is this bit at the back, because I think that Technic piece is just too long. Now, with it being too long, obviously you can see the pin. I'm sure what I'm probably supposed to do is swap it over for this blue pin, so it goes blue into that gap, and then that's how that works potentially. But I'll do that in a second and show you if that actually fills in that gap. Now we have moved this bit over, because obviously this bit was on the other side. That was actually in the correct place to start with, and I've picked that up and I've just moved the portal over because that gives us the space. Now there are no instructions how to do that. You just got to basically eyeball it by the picture, or pick and choose where it is that you want to go. Now, I said you've got the two gaps under the two holes. That second hole does literally nothing, but now I do believe I might actually, he says doesn't do anything, be able to add that flight stand back in. Yes, I will be able to. So with two hands, that flight stand will be able to go at the back, so you can now create a scene attacking the back of the Sandman, because obviously that was in exactly where this bit was just here, and that made it more complicated than what it needed to be. So if you've actually built the thing correctly like I did, I thought I had done it wrong, you do need to strip one or two bits and pieces down just to be able to get it in the right piece. But the bits that we are looking at now are the new additions. I do believe it does look very, very smart. As a whole, it works fantastic. Now I've just tweaked it again. I realised what I said about that blue thing. You can't do this different holes in different holes. It's like putting a triangle into a circle. But what I've done is I've just put both of those pieces together, because now we've got that spare bit. I've added much more of an angle. So when this is up and to the side, it gives you much more height, which I really do like the look of that. And you can see it's now much taller than the actual main bit itself, which I think works much better. But again, pick and choose how it is that you want to do it, and then you have still got the secondary one on the back. But again, all I've done is I've just done the 2 Technic pieces. Yes, potentially it is the wrong thing and it's not supposed to be like that and they're supposed to be touching. I just need shorter yellow pieces, but I've just put 1 yellow bit in, added to the curve, next yellow bit in, added the curve, and then it goes completely upright rather than at that angle. And I think again that looks a little bit more impressive, and it just gives you a little bit more of a focus point, and that is really now starting to add in quite a lot of height. Right, I really think we're starting to make progress now. So you can see I've actually added Dockhok with his newer, stiffer tentacles up at the top. He is now towering over absolutely everybody else. So this set now is getting very tall. Now it's almost as tall as the box. So you're probably about a minifigure, maybe 2 minifigures off from the top of his head. If you were to get his tentacle and straighten it off, I would imagine it would almost be level. Now I've also added some bits and pieces on at the back. I might as well show you as I go, because I'm going to forget what I've done otherwise. So that again is the bit from the back. Don't forget this does angle, so you can tip the lizard forward or backwards, or just change the minifigure. Now from the back here, look how nice that looks here. Beautiful. Now I've added him on the flight stand, so that flight stand did fit back in on that hole, so you can add another minifigure up there. So you've got Electro flying away, and then you've got these 2 just on that scaffolding tower. So that is actually something you've got from the back, and then that's dead back, and then just again for reference point is just to the side. So there's a lot going on from the back, and now we've got some bits and pieces going on from the side. So I just need to add in a couple more, and then I'll show you the end result. So this is what it looks like with all the minifigures. So you can see we've added in some bits and pieces. We put a Spidey. I've not put them in the right place. I've just thrown them in quickly. So you can see those 2 up at the top. Now I will rip that Spider-Man off, because it's impressive actually how much weight this new scaffolding tower can take. Now if we come around to the front, who have we got? So we have got MJ falling, and then you've got Ned just being Ned, just looking. Then you've got that one spider trying to save, and then you've got t'other spider that would be on his way to sweep down, but then we'll get collared by the Green Goblin as he flies around. So you can have lots of different bits and pieces. Then on the back I've just got Doctor Strange. They're fighting at the back, which I think again does look very good. Now depending on how you want to display it, obviously you will see different bits and pieces. Now even though I said Electro is my favourite minifigure, I think that probably does look the most impressive angle. So what I will try and mess around with is see if I can get Electro on show, or put him in a different place, or even just put him here, because that stand does take the weight. So you can see Electro now stood there. I've just swapped him over for the spider. It does look very good. So if you wanted a group shot of all the villains, you can do. And it also does take this. So if you wanted to swap those 2 over, you could do. Now potentially what I might be able to do is we've got the Green Goblin there now, so you can see it does take the weight. Now I've tried to put the Electro and him on the same bit, and it just falls off, because don't forget it is only attached by one of them. But if I reinforced it somehow, I think I'll be able to have all the villains forward facing, and we can have just one big front facing display. I have been playing with this for far too long, but I have managed to get all 4 of them in, and don't they look very good together. So all of that is just with the addition. So the new bit only, I think you can do it that way if you add in both Technic pieces. That is super stable. So you can see, even though it is actually on the box, if I get him out of the way so you can actually see it a little bit better like that, that is the height of what we've done. I'm really getting confused with the box. Beautiful translucent pieces. I didn't like the yellow in front of the orange, but the yellow above the orange, I think now you can see everything coming through. You can see the lizard coming through that portal. Now again, from the side and the back, that's what I've had to do. It goes up in a straight line, and that is how much height you get. That is now over the box. So if you do have the Spider-Man Final Battle box, that is how tall this thing now actually is. So we'll just use the box for reference rather than anything else, because I'm sure this is already a long-winded way of doing it. But guys, I think that is it. I am done. Keep your eyes peeled for further updates of what I'm going to do with regards to displaying all of this. I will obviously move all of the other minifigures that I've dotted around, and we'll just put some more bits and pieces on display. Does not feel too heavy whatsoever, just moving that around and having that on the side. So let us know, feedback below, how have you displayed yours? What are you going to do with regards to displaying yours? And again, one more time, if I move that out of the way, just so you can see what they all look like together. I think they do look very very effective. But guys, if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll do this next one. Ta-da.